Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a nice design feature. So today I'm going to be having a play with the Neumann or Newman. Don't know. What is it? NDH20. A catchy name if ever I've heard one. Overall, not too heavy. Quite light. Comfortable. Clamping force isn't too high, but it's going to block out a lot of noise. You have got a little hidden bass port by the hinge. But yeah, they look quite nice, don't they? Yeah. So without further ado, let's have a look inside and see what secrets they hold. What up, nerds? Oh, you have to excuse my voice. I've got a bit of a cold. It's giving me that sexy oaky timbre. I should have a cold more often. It makes me sound cool. Right. Anyway, I've had these Newman. I don't know. Let's go with Neumann. I you know, this sounds kind of cool. Neumann in Berlin. Neumann NDH20. Had these on the shelf for about a year because I've been meaning to like have a play with them, and it's just been, it's been a crazy year with the COVID and all that malarkey. So I had a quick listen to them, but I haven't actually pulled them apart and see how they're made. So we're gonna do a quick design review, see how these are made, see what they're made of. If you're looking for some sound impressions, this isn't it. Go to another video. I might even link a video if there's a good one. That's not what I do. I have a look inside. So we're going to see how these are made as opposed to how they sound, and see what design decisions they've made. So this was kind of a team up between Neumann and Sennheiser. They are kind of part of the same company, and this is their flagship model, you know, their first headphone that they've made, so they've got to make a really good impression. So I suspect they've put a lot of love into these, and you probably get nicer features on these than you get other headphones of a similar price, but we will see. We will see. Certainly the action on the joints is so nice, so buttery smooth with no flex in it. Has it got spring? No, it doesn't have a spring in there to spring back, but yeah, that's quite nice, and it does look quite complex. It might be a bit difficult to pull apart. So overall, let's start out. So pads, nice and firm, slightly memory foamy. And you've got headpad in there, which again they've not stolen, but similar design to the HT650 with a cutout there, which does seem to, so if you presses on your head there rather than at the center, which does make it more comfortable for longer listening periods. These are designed for studio use, so they're designed for long listening periods. As far as the jack goes, they've got a locking jack similar to the 598 Sennheiser, where you push and engage it like that. So it's a 2.5mm jack with a locking mechanism, so you can remove it, but there's no chance of you kind of accidentally pulling it out. This does mean that, you know, I design cables for custom cans, so it does mean that I know unfortunately they won't be making cables for these because that jack is probably too slender to fit their super fat wires in. But a 598 cable might fit, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how these are wired, to see if they're wired so that you could potentially run them balanced. I don't know whether you'd want to do that in the studio, but we'll have a look. So, how do I get into these? Should we start by removing the pads? That's always a good place to start. Oh, yeah, so kind of a standard pad design with like a suede coating, but then underneath we've got this foam surround with fabric there. So this will have been part of the tuning, I suspect, where there's sound rolling up around here, and this foam will absorb it and it will have changed the sound slightly. How do I get those off? So the foam is stuck down with some kind of double-sided sticky tape, so already they're getting, I don't know, we'll get into it, we'll see. I might be doing this all wrong. Yeah, so it does look like there's screws under there. So essentially you're going to have to go in with some kind of blade and initially lift up the double-sided tape on the foam. Okay, so not, you know, this is a Neumann, not a Sennheiser. If it was a Sennheiser, I would expect to see it more easily dismantled. Yeah, so there's that. I'll put that to one side because that looks important. Okay, so here you can see you've got an off-center driver. This is the left ear, so blah blah blah. So this is going to be the front. This is going to be the back, and you can see the driver's actually up quite high. So if that's the bottom there, that's up higher, and then you've got some paper and stuff to let some of the sound come back through. So it, you know, most headphones would have that in the center, so there'll be a reason for offsetting it like that. They might have found that it helped with sound staging or something like that. But yeah, that's quite interesting, having it up higher. So is that going to interact with the pad? So yeah, so when we've got the pad on there, yeah, it's quite interesting. I suppose it could be because does your ear canal go down slightly? Maybe. But obviously they've done some, it's an interesting design feature. They've done some testing there. They must have decided that that was the place to put the driver rather than right in the middle. So let's get the next layer off. So we'll just get in here. 4 screws holding this in place. POM is the material this is made of. So not nylon. And yeah, you can see they've got an L written on here, and I suspect the other one's an R. So that will have added to the manufacturing cost, having different left and right driver enclosures. So they must have thought it was worth it. Let's have a look. So inside, the actual ear cup is made of ABS. Interesting. So I know Sennheiser love a nylon. So Neumann have gone for something else. So you've got this outer retaining ring that comes away, and you'll notice you've got little arrows that help you line it up when they're manufacturing it. So if you're putting it back together, line the arrows up on there. So just take that off. So this is the actual driver baffle. Turn that over. Ah, look, it's a little sealed unit. So it's got an inner sealed area, and that again is ABS. But yeah, it's properly siliconed all the way around, so that's sealed in there. So we're not going to be able to get at the back of the driver. It has got a little port there that it breathes through, and it's got a little cover over that, which is either for tuning or just to stop dust from getting in. Either way, it looks like a relatively complex part to design. You've got a little circuit board here which will allow you to unsolder the headband cable, which is kind of useful. It's actually warm up the soldering iron. We'll get that off and we'll get a bit deeper. Yeah, so that's the actual driver. We can't see the back of it. I'm not going to strip off all the silicon just to have a look inside, but this is going to be roughly, let's say, so it's around, I don't know, the actual driver itself is probably close to 40 mil. I think, you know, it depends where you measure it. But yeah, 40. So that's 40 mil. I reckon that's reasonable to think that's a 40 mil driver. Ah, this is oh, whoops, sorry, near future Jason here. Just remembered, just realised, I forgot to pull apart the exciting ear cap. Let's have a look in that other one. It's probably got something more in there. Let's do that. So yeah, so I did pull the rest of it apart and then kind of came back to this. That's, but now I know what I'm doing. So pad off. Something. Nearly slipped. Something sharp under there. Should have used a blade rather than a screwdriver. And I can pull off the tape carefully. Save that for later. Okay, let's have a look at what they've done with the other side and the socket. Screwdriver. Oh, I think what had happened is where they'd siliconed the driver shut, it got stuck. So you can see you've got so in here we've got the actual 2.5 mil socket, and it is, I'm gonna have to pull that out because we've only, what have we got? We've only got 3 traces here. We've got left plus, and right minus. I'm not sure if left minus has its own track up to the socket. We'll see We'll see. We'll dismantle that. See, this is vaguely interesting. So yeah, so this part here and this part here, purely there to support the plug as it goes in, to relieve the strain on this small socket here. So again, it's done for durability. The twist lock thing is a good idea, because these little 2.5mm sockets, if this was down here, you'd have much more leverage and you can move it around. Because it's inside, the chance, like if you yank on the cable, you might break a cable, but you're not going to break the socket inside. So, you know, and if you're going to have a failure, it's much easier to replace a cable than replace the socket. A nice bit of design there. This is, whoever designed this, it was not their first rodeo. Okay, let's have a look. Alright, so we have got an additional separate trace going to the left. So let's multimeter this, and then we can tell. So it might well be possible to make a balanced cable for these. No. Yeah, so they're not connected, so it would be possible. So these are wired internally in a way that means that you could make a balanced cable for these. So you would need a 4-pole 2.5. 2.5? That's a 2.5. Let's have a look. Okay. Just double check that that's the case. Okay, so that one. Yeah, so it's set up so you could take a balanced connection. It's not wired the same as an A and K. It is wired the more sensible way of left plus, left minus, right plus, right minus as you go down the thing. The Neumann engineers obviously were sensible people, but they didn't realise that the standard for a 2.5 is not sensible. But you know, I remember when I first started making stuff at the Astle and Kern players, I'm like, well, god damn it, why have you chosen such a stupid pinout? But now it's the standard. Everyone else followed their stupid pinout. I suppose because they were first to market. But I think they deliberately made it difficult to wire just so that other people wouldn't make cables for their stuff. But I don't know. I'm not an A&K engineer, but it seemed like it was wired in a stupid way. Okay, so yes, so we found out something. These can be balanced. Now it's made me intrigued. I'm like, oh, shall I try and make a balanced cable for these? It's difficult because it would have to be totally redesigned from scratch versus what we normally make. And are there going to be many people who want to have a balanced pair of Neumann NAH20s or whatever these are? So that was interesting. So yeah, so now we found how the socket's wired. It's got a good amount of support, nicely designed. I should have opened this side first. This would have made more sense. So anyway, I'll go back to past Jason to have a look at the headband and be prepared for failure, because spoiler alert, he's not going to be able to fully dismantle it. Over to past Jason. Okay, so I'm just going to unsolder this. So you'll find when you're unsoldering, sometimes a bit of fresh solder on the soldering tip will make it just come away quicker. Okay, so that's the actual driver. Not a lot to say about that because we've got a sealed unit in there, but yeah, it's quite interesting. So it's a dual chamber. So it probably makes sound isolation a bit better, but it will also have something to do with the tuning. I did see Sennheiser do a similar thing on the HD 708 where they had an inner chamber and an outer chamber, which again was designed for high noise environments. So yeah, it's an interesting design feature. I've not seen that on many headphones where you have an inner and an outer area, so I might play around and experiment with that, see what it does. It's not something I've tried. Okay, so now we're into the meat of the thing. So we've got a good large metal spring steel part there, just holding the hinge in. That's quite nice. Does it just slide off now? It does, look at that. Oh, so that comes apart nicely. And in here, again, these are marked left and right, so there would have been 2 parts for that. So yeah, so a lot of quite a high part count. They haven't recycled, just because a lot of the headphones have the same driver left and right, the same parts left and right, and then they just flip it. Whereas these have got a lot of differences left to right. What's that made of? Some kind of white. It's not a nylon. I don't know. Might be nylon. Doesn't say on there. So yeah, so you've got that. This part in here. Should we get that? Let's get it out while we're in here. So let's do this. Let's have a look at it. I just find it fascinating to pull these things apart. And what's even more interesting is when I'm designing mods for them, and you have to take all the measurements and design parts, and you go, you often discover why they've done it when you try and redesign a part for it. So no, that doesn't say what it is. It doesn't. I don't know. No, I don't know what plastic that is. So here it looks like we've got an inner plastic part glued onto a metallized part. And is that metal? Let's have a look. Yeah, that is metal. So this outer part metal, inner part plastic. And looking at this, that is looking slightly greasy. So that, oh yeah, they've got some grease on there, which is, you know, I was saying how it's super smooth. That could be why, because they've greased that up, which is a nice touch. You don't see that on a lot of headphones, so they've sort of oiled or greased the joints to give them that super smooth feeling. T5, I don't know, I think this might be a T4. See if I can get it out. Oh yeah, it is letting me, so let's get this off. Alright, okay, so we've got this part which deals with the cable routing, that's ABS. Just pop those screws back in there so I don't lose them. As I said, this is all greased up, which is quite nice. And then again, this hinge part, what have we got here? So we've got a separate part here, which just kind of neatens up that. That's a rubbery, that must be a rubbery stop to stop the ear cup from rattling against this, which again is metal. I suspect these are magnesium, maybe, a bit like the HDJ 2000s and Pioneer X10s, because it feels like plastic, which is one of the things of magnesium, but it, you know, obviously it is a metal. It's just not very cold to the touch like most metals, and it's very, very light. So I suspect these are magnesium, which is it's an expensive material to deal with. Keeps durability high. I really like the logo stamped into the side there. That's nice. So you've got these two little jobbies here, which look metal. It looks like a security bit. I'm hoping that is just for decoration, because I will not be able to get that off. But let's see if we can get a little bit deeper. Let's get this next bit off. Again, different screws for each part. But this is coming apart quite nicely. I've dismantled other headphones like the Pioneer HDJ 2000 and X10, which are kind of a similar construction, you know, with magnesium and stuff. But those are like, they're seriously booby trapped. There's tiny springs and bits and bobs that ping out. And yeah, I even got contacted by Pioneer to ask them to ask me to take down a dismantling guide, because they said it's not really safe for people to pull apart themselves, and I kind of had to agree with them. It was no, so that bit doesn't want to come off. Let's get the next bit off. But yeah, this you know, it's got a lot of parts, but it seems pretty straightforward. Oh, look at that! I didn't even realise they did that. So that clicks in and out like that. Or is this going to be the bit that is difficult? I'll have a look. It's making lots of creaks, like it wants to come apart. No, no, it's not playing. It's not playing. Seems a shame to be beaten at this point. No, 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 no. Gonna give up. It's unlike me. I quite like the look of these headphones, so I might keep them. Let's have a look. Let's get under here. So if you need to replace the head pad, I suspect we just remove these little panels in here. You never know, there might be some more clues as to how to pull it apart in there. But yeah, it's weird that they'd let you get this far and then they seem really keen on you not getting into that part. Yeah, so this is, I think it's a similar arrangement to the, so it looks like a similar pad to the HD 650, so you might be able to interchange pads between them, I don't know. Yeah, so the pad's just in a groove inside there, and we can remove it. So that's the pad. It looks pretty similar to the HD 600, 650 pads. It might be a bit smaller, but they've definitely used the same sliding arrangement to get it in there. This little door that covers it is ABS as well, just held on with these little screws. So it's not too bad to remove these pads. You can remove those pads. The foam underneath is a bit trickier because it's held on with double-sided tape, but I suspect because it's a Sennheiser company, they'll sell you those spares. Sennheiser are really good about selling spares. That's one thing I really like about them. But I don't know if we're going to get any further in. This this hinge piece here, I suspect has got hidden clips and clasps. Ah, come on, I'm so close. I've removed the screws. I've got like 2 more bits of plastic to get out. No, 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 no. All right, I'm going to give up. But overall, nice construction, you know, good solid feel. I like the fact they've greased these bits, you know, this is all sexy and greased up. Bit of a shame I didn't manage to get into this bit, but I don't want to have to break these headphones. Oh, look, it's quite interesting. Look, it's got a little window under there. Can you see it's got a bit of clear plastic so you can see the cable moving around. Oh, and they've got a little cable guide in there as well. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that's a nice thing, because again, similar design, like I said, to the Pioneers, but occasionally they can get the wire kind of caught up in here, so when you open them you can damage the wire. But this has got a little spring steel part there that guides the wire back into the right shape, and they, oh yeah, oh, that is a nice design feature. I really like that. If I was the designer, I'd put a bit of clear perspex over there as well, just to show off how incredibly clever I've been. But that's nice. Yeah. Yes, nice. Also, good thick headband cable. Again, I often see these are very thin, so when they get trapped in stuff, they'll break. This has got a good amount of protection. It's actually got quite good thick conductors on there. Yeah, so yeah, sorry, I'm just nerding out here over the design of the cable management in the headband, but you just got to trust me, from a guy that's pulled apart a lot of headphones, that's a nice way of doing it. So I'm just having a look. So this is rubber along here with metal, and I think it's using this metal which has been given the same finish as these ear caps as the spring, judging by the way it moves. This is kind of plastic, rubber over a plastic frame. Oh no, it's just pure rubber. Interesting. So yeah, so this bit's all rubber. This bit's metal spring steel. You've got POM inserts here which do the cable guiding and the clicky mechanism. But yeah, I'm not gonna, I know I really should take them apart further, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna break something. So at this juncture, until I've played with these a bit more, I'm going to leave it at that. So overall, nice. It looks like whoever designed it didn't talk to the guy who had to pay for it, because they have massively over-engineered almost every part of this. I think they could have saved some money here and there. But if it's your first headphone, you want to impress people, you've got to go balls deep. And yeah, these are nice with all the magnesium pieces and nicely put together, extra thick headband wire and that cable management in there. Oh, sir. Sexy bit of kit. And we found out that it's possible to run a balanced cable into them as standard. So I might look into that. I don't know, it might be a bit too expensive to produce a balanced cable for them. But yeah, nice. If you've got any questions, stick them in the doodly-doodly-doo. It's been great hanging out. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this kind of thing, because I'll be doing more of it. Don't you worry, I'll be doing more of it. Okay, bye. Word to your nan. Peace out, Jason. Bye.